Join us for an impromptu talk on Vibroacoustics at AHHA Wellness in Mercer, Wisconsin. And we're recording. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I was saying hi to Facebook, not that anybody's out there. But hi to you guys, too. My name is Craig Goldberg, and I'm with a company called Holistic Health Science. We make and manufacture these amazing pieces of technology that are sitting before me called the Vibroacoustic Sound Lounge, or VASL Systems is a term that we've coined and that we are working through as these are VASL Systems. So we're a sound and technology company. And for the next 6-7 hours, we're going to talk, no, I'm just kidding. For the next 20-30 minutes, we'll talk about Sound Lounge technology. We'll talk about some of the music that we listen through through it. And if you guys have some questions, we can ask some questions, and then we'll turn off the cameras and we'll have some fun. Let's start with basically what we're looking at. So Vibroacoustic Sound Lounge, they're a body of research called vibrational therapy, or VAT, V-A-T for short. The body of research, without getting into it in too much detail, it goes back about 40 years, roughly to the early 1980s. It officially began being studied by a guy by the name of Olav Skille in Norway. And basically, he started studying specific frequencies and their impact on the body. So a particular frequency brings a particular part of the body into what's called harmonic resonance. It's a fancy word for into balance, right? And they studied this, and they started to study lots of different frequencies. If you're familiar with tuning forks, or if you're familiar with crystal bowls, these all make a specific frequency. Now, tuning forks were originally used to tune instruments, and now they're using to tune one of the most powerful instruments on the planet, which is the human voice. There's a couple of other really interesting studies that's out there. They've actually studied different acoustic instruments and their ability to bring the body into harmonic resonance, to bring different organs into harmonic resonance. Any idea what instrument wins every single time? Anybody? It's not the sound lounge. The voice. The human voice. Every single time. So if you but if you look back in the history books, right, cultures have been using sound throughout the millennia, right? We use it in dance, we use it in healing. Shamans have been using it, singing different ikarus to invoke different aspects of our spirituality. And on a physical level, we now have different instruments that allows us to measure harmonic resonance. It allows us to measure the particular frequencies that we're vibrating at, right? We can use EEGs to test the frequencies of our brain and the frequency patterns of our brain. So we have galvanic skin response. We have different biofeedback machines. We have lots of different resources today that allow us to really get behind the science, and holistic health science is hopefully going to be at the forefront of that very soon as we continue to do more and more science, and we'll release that science out to the marketplace. So it's really interesting. It's a body of research that talks about specific ailments, specific issues, specific disease. I'm not going to talk too much about that today. It's not something we really get involved with at Holistic Health Science. For us, it's more about vibroacoustics. It's more about the music that's being played through it and the experience that people have. We actually leave that to our practitioners and the folks that are out there using our technology, and some of the scientists as they start to study it as well. I'm going to go through our technology, the difference between the VASL Vibroacoustic Sound Lounge, the VASL Series 1, and the Practitioner. And I want to talk a little bit about some different ways that you can use it and some different ways that we've seen our technology get used as well. And if you've got questions, I've got answers. Sound good? Yes. All right. Cool. So let's start with a little bit of a history and a little bit of a background of our company and where we came from. We were founded just over 3 years ago. In July of 2016, Dominic and Dr. Steve started to create what would soon become the VASL Series 1. 6 months of prototyping, and they had the VASL Series 1, which is our flagship product. It's ergonomically designed. The technology that's inside both of these is something called a tactile transducer. Tactile transducer is a fancy word for half of a speaker, okay? You've seen speakers, there aren't any in the ceiling here, but we're all familiar with speakers and what they do. They project sound onto our ears, and that's how we actually hear sound. What we're doing with the Vibroacoustic Sound Lounge is we're actually upgrading the listening experience from auditory to physical. So you actually feel the music with every cell of your body. You're laying in the same frequency that you're hearing through your ears. And we can talk about that for a second, right? Because without getting too deep into the consciousness conversation, we're interpreting this environment, right? If you've seen The Matrix, you're interpreting this environment through electrical signals that are being sent from my eyes, my ears, my skin, as I feel the air and its temperature, and I feel the floor and the seat on my bottom, and I see all of you beautiful faces looking back at me, and I hear all of the sounds that are coming out, right? What are those really? They're electrical signals, as Doc, you can talk about as a chiropractor, right? The neurology and the background of it. You're talking about electrical signals interpreted by the brain. So the body, and they all have limitations, right? So what we're looking at and seeing right now is the electromagnetic spectrum. There's one electromagnetic spectrum. The only difference between sound and light is speed or frequency. Sound is vibrating at a lower frequency than light. And as you work your way up from the lowest tones of sound to the highest pitches of light, all the way up through X-ray and gamma rays, right? You go from this long frequency wave to something that's super, super fast and that you can't even hear, see, or feel. In fact, it can pierce right through every one of us, right? Gamma rays, X-rays, these are high-powered, high-frequency. It's all part of the same frequency spectrum, right? So sound and what we can interpret as sound, our ears, generally speaking, we're hearing between 20 hertz and 20,000 hertz. 22,000 hertz. And that certainly changes as we get older, right? But the body, well, we can feel a much broader, like you feel a rumble of bass that's far lower than something that you can actually hear, but you can feel it, right? We're familiar with this when we go to the movies or when we're listening to something that has a sound engineer that has put this together and the right equipment that can project that sound. So that's the technology that we use. It's called the Tactile Transducer, and it's a fancy word for half of a speaker. There are lots of different components inside a speaker, but the Tactile Transducer is one of two main components. The first is a Tactile Transducer, which I actually have out in the RV and should be right here, so I can show it to you. We'll do it for next time. Tactile Transducer, it's a disc about this wide. It's maybe 2 inches tall. We make them specifically for our sound lounge to have a specific response and a specific frequency range. The frequency range, just to go back to what we just talked about, the frequency range of the Tactile Transducer is 20 hertz to 200 hertz. Okay? The frequency range of these Sennheiser headphones that come with the VASL Series 1, 15 hertz to 22,000 hertz. Okay? So more in line with the human ear versus the low-end frequency that comes through the Tactile Transducer. So again, the Tactile Transducer moves the air, and the other big component of a speaker is the cone, which projects and pushes the sound. Now when we're listening to music out of a stereo or in our car, that sound is being projected through air and onto us. Right? So I'll give you a couple of general kind of measuring sticks when it comes to sound and wattage without getting into too much of the electronics and the electrical behind it. The VASL Series 1 is powered by a 300 watt amplifier. The Practitioner powers 2 transducers, and it's a 100 watt amplifier. All right, we've all been to a concert, right? And you love every time he hits the bass or he slaps the bass, you kind of feel it in your chest. All right, those big stadium sound systems are anywhere between 80,000 watts and 400,000 watts. Okay, and I would argue that, and I would put this experience up to a concert experience any day of the week. Right now, you got 50,000 people versus the one, but nonetheless, you're getting a very similar experience because you're laying right up against it. Right? And it's that overlap, the transducers between 20 and 200 hertz, the headphones or the speaker between 15 and 22,000 hertz. It's that overlap between 20 and 200 hertz. The brain creates this 3D or three-dimensional, fully immersive experience. And for those has everybody been on the Sound Lounge, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Cool. So that's what creates that fully immersive experience that really allows the brain to kind of go on its journey, right? And separate a little bit, and you kind of feel like you're floating, and you start to have all these different sensations. It's that overlap. The brain is, again, just looking at electrical inputs coming from your nervous system through touch, coming through your ears through sound. Your eyes are covered, or you might have the in-light wellness system going, right? So it's that overlap that creates this kind of 3D fully immersive experience, very much like binaural beats, where you put one frequency in one ear, another frequency in the other ear, and the brain creates a third coherence, right? Make sense? Any questions? Cool. You guys are all paying attention. I love it. It's amazing. So the VASL Series 1. So we created this product. This is our flagship product, and we created it really to be our Cadillac, if you will. We took out all the stops on this one. It's ergonomically designed. It typically comes on an 18-inch platform, which is how you see it on the other side of this wall. Comes with Sennheiser headphones. Comes with a 300-watt amplifier. Comes with a 15-watt headphone amplifier, and that's to make sure we have enough power and enough juice going to the ears to really give you that full sound out of the ears. All of the custom cabling. This product came out we started shipping in November of 2016. So just over a year and a half ago. We're coming up on 2 years, actually. I believe August, we have the official birthday of the first prototype just passed a couple days ago, which is pretty exciting for us. We asked a lot of questions of people that have used the Sound Lounge, and frankly, we asked it of people that didn't buy the Sound Lounge. What do you love about it? What can we do differently? How can we make it better? And a number of people, particularly practitioners, I know I'm talking to a room of several practitioners, many practitioners. So in February of this year, we came out with our second product, which is the Practitioner. So the feedback that we got from the VASL Series 1 of how we can make it better, there were a few things. First of all, they wanted it to be lighter. They wanted it to be thinner. They wanted it to be a face cutout so that you can lay face down so that they can really work on a patient or client. They wanted stronger foam, so a little bit firmer foam so that you can really dig into a client, or a chiropractor might be able to adjust on it. They wanted a portable case, so we put it into a Pelican case, waterproof, weatherproof, really rugged case, probably overkill, but nonetheless, that's how we like to do things. They also said, I don't need headphones, I want a speaker because I'm engaged with my patient. I don't want cables and lines and things going on of that nature. We happen to send it with a pair of Bluetooth headphones so that if you do want to create a fully immersive experience, you can. So we keep that. And then the other thing they said is, look, I just want the music. I don't need an Amazon Fire. I don't want to be switching between my music player and your music player. So just give me a download link for the music so that I can add it to my own. So that's what we did. So we put all of these things together. And they also wanted a bag. So this actually folds in half. Both units fold in half. We have a Velcro strap that comes around it, keeps it together. And you can actually throw that over your shoulder, put all the accoutrements inside a front pocket, close this down in one shoulder, and carry the amp, and you're on your way. Pretty amazing. I was actually floating around New York City doing demos with the Practitioner. It was pretty awesome. So those are our two units. 2 transducers in the Practitioner, 4 transducers in the VASL Series 1. We use 100 watts of power with the Practitioner, 300 watts of power for the bigger one. Frankly, this is overkill. They're 50 watts per transducer, so it happens to rip. Like, you've been on the Practitioner. I don't think anybody else has.
I haven't tried
You haven't tried it yet either.
Way more vibey.
It rips.
You really feel.
Yeah.
Like, they're both amazing, and this one's just.
Yeah. The body is so much closer. There's less foam in between you and the transducer. You just feel it. It's a much more stronger. I keep it around 45 or 50% of its power. I mean, it's really pretty amazing. We get the question a lot, can you link them together? They happen to be linked together right now. So both of these are playing the same music. I did a demo a couple weeks ago where I actually had a husband and wife team that were each dropped in together. They were having their own experience, which is pretty rad. Anytime you're going to do that, you want to make sure you're using our amplifiers. The custom cabling is how it connects, but you want to make sure that you're powering the amplifiers and then connecting the amplifiers in and out. And you can daisy chain as many of them together as you like. We had a gal at One Love Festival who got on the Sound Lounge. She does sound for all of the big movies. She has a 13. She says, I sit in sound all day long. This is amazing, because we were playing healing music and she was listening to movie and cinema music, because that's what she does. She says, I have a 13 speaker surround sound with subwoofers, and she's got a very full sound, and she loved the experience that she got from it. So we're pretty excited with the opportunities that we're coming across right now. The sound lounges have such a vast application. I mean, obviously we're sitting in a healing center, and by the way, for those of you that aren't here, because I don't have to tell you guys, this place rivals any type of healing center or spa that you would find in the most conscious of neighborhoods in Denver, the most conscious of neighborhoods in Encinitas. You've got light therapy, biomats, massage therapy, essential oils, the melt method. What did I miss? Sound lounges.
Sound lounge.
Obviously. Sound
Infrared
lounges.
sauna,
Infrared sauna's coming. I mean,
CBD, hemp oil.
structured water, CBD and hemp oil. Like, if you live within 50 miles of this place, it needs to be a regular stop. I'm just going to stop real quick for a commercial for AHHA Wellness.
And where are we?
We're in Mercer, Wisconsin. We're about 220 miles north of Madison. Give it up. That's right.
At
We
AHHA.
were just here for Loon Day. So that's a thing. The bird. 3,000, 4,000 people. There's that thing. All right. Yet I digress. So different applications. So I travel all around the country, and I'm offering demos in lots of different environments. Obviously, in a wellness center, there's a fantastic application for it for its healing properties and its healing opportunities. However, these are used all day, every day by professionals and entrepreneurs. I do demos at WeWorks across the country, which are co-working spaces. Entrepreneurs love it. I go to companies that want to bring this in to use
Like
this. Corporate wellness, exactly. It's like a nap room on steroids, right? Upgrade your nap room and put in a sound lounge. It's one thing to go in there and have a meditation room. It's another thing to have frequencies help you get to a meditative state, which is amazing. We can talk about that in a moment. I've got sales forces. We just did a demo at Toyota in Flagstaff, right? So their sales team was on it, using this as a tool to calm and relax the sales team, right? Which can be very excitable when things go their way or when things don't go their way. Use this as an opportunity to take a break, to clear the mind, to get set, and to get ready to rock. I know entrepreneurs that are using this in between companies. They're hopping from company to company, and they use a sound lounge session as a way for them to clear their head as they go from topic to topic. We've got NFL athletes that are using this as a recovery tool. We've got elite athletes, weekend warriors. We have life coaches that use this when they do seminars. They keep it in the back of the room to replenish and rejuvenate attendees at their events. We've got psychologists and psychiatrists. We've got, a whole wealth of medical practitioners that are using this on the cancer side, and oncologists. It basically fits in any waiting room that you have. You can put a sound lounge in. People are in there getting surgery. It's great for the family to be able to sit and use the sound lounge to calm and relax their nervous system and relax as they're waiting for something to go down. It's great in the dentist's office. Anyway, the list goes on of how many different applications, and frankly, it's one of the things that I think are so excited in working with all of these visionaries is all of the different applications that we have. Our visionaries are our distributors. They're all over the country, including here in Mercer, and almost every single day we're bringing new applications to the way that the sound technology can be used, and it's just a really exciting time for us to be documenting and promoting and talking about such an amazing technology. Cool? Any questions? Cool. You guys are making my job easy. Just keep talking, Craig. No
Let's
problem.
go over a couple tracks of the music.
Yeah,
Your
let's
head
talk.
next.
Yeah, let's talk about the music. So, you can listen to anything through the sound lounge. Literally, any music will play through the sound lounge. So, I've listened to the Grateful Dead. I've listened to Seal. Seal sounds amazing. Anybody loves smooth jazz? Amazing. Like, smooth jazz. I have an Amazon playlist. It's atmospheric electronica, and we play it through it for you sit in front of a fire. We sit in front of a fire in Idlewild, and we were just running it through the speakers and had the sound lounges hooked up, and it was amazing. So you can listen to anything you want through it. Whatever your favorite music is, I welcome you to listen through it. Dark Side of the Moon sounds amazing. Sting sounds amazing. Rock and roll, 80s, 90s, 2000s, hip hop. You name it. It sounds fantastic.
My
Again,
daughter's 15-year-old friends think it's amazing with their silly music.
And they're listening to rap.
if you love it, you'll love it even more through the Sound Lounge, and what I tell people, because of the unique nature of the transducer right against your body, the low-end frequencies coming up through it. I'm just about 90% in bringing musicians to tears when they play their own music through it. Like 90% of the time, 9 out of 10 times, to tears at the end of it because they haven't heard their music with such full sound and felt it from the inside out. So you can listen to anything through it, and I really urge and welcome people to do it. I listen to Ohm. I listen to like a choir of an Ohm. It's like, I imagine, I don't know what it's recorded, but it's Jonathan Goldman. It's called The Ultimate Ohm. It's 110 minutes of Ohm, and it doesn't end, and it feels amazing through the Sound Lounge. I look at a fractal kaleidoscope, and I almost always fall asleep, and I wake up feeling fantastic, right? So you can literally listen to anything through it. One thing that I'll add is that not only can you listen to any type of music through it, but you can connect a mixer, and you can use any type of input directly through the Sound Lounges as well. So we've had an electric harp, we've had an electric guitar. In fact, Steve had this at NAMM, which is it's a music instrument national conference. It's one of the biggest ones in the nation, and the bass guitar judges for the bass guitar contest were sitting on a VASL Series 1, which were plugged into the bass guitarist playing the bass. I mean, it was like, talk about epic, right? So we've had like I said, electric harps. We've had voice. You can do NLP. You can do body hypnosis, full body hypnosis. You can do, you can sing through it. Remember, the voice is the most powerful instrument, wins every single time, so you can connect a microphone through it and play through that. So you can connect a multitude, and just a microphone with a didgeridoo is pretty epic and pretty amazing. Thanks for listening, guys and gals. Yeah, bye, Facebook.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.